So welcome to the vision portion of our life groups. Love Sioux Falls went incredible. You guys did an amazing job. If you're watching this and you went out there, congratulations. Good job on going out there and loving on Sioux Falls. That's an incredible serve-free opportunity, and you guys did it. And I'm so proud as a life groups pastor that we did an event through life groups and that so many people went out. Good job, congratulations. Now, if you took any pictures during Love Sioux Falls, I'm asking to send them in. If you could please send them in. You can upload them if you guys use social media, Twitter, Instagram. Upload your pictures right now and use hashtag Love Sioux Falls. Once again, hashtag Love Sioux Falls. You'll see it on the screen right here, or you can email me at wani.velez@theransomedchurch.org. You guys are also doing a great job with our Hawthorne staff. Every single staff member, we're just hearing feedback from the staff, from the principal, that everyone feels loved there. Congratulations, guys, for doing what life groups are supposed to do, is really just changing our community and giving and going. So congratulations, great job. I'm extremely proud. Now, I want to tell you about our life groups night at the Stampede Arena on March 23rd at 6:05 p.m. Now, I told you if we get a bunch of people there that they'll slingshot one of our pastors across the ice. What I didn't tell you is that it's a competition. There are actually other churches in the area who are also doing the same thing. So what I'm saying is, if you sign up, there's two ways of doing it. You can purchase tickets before, because they need to tally up how many ransom people are there. You can stop by the hub and pick up a flyer, pay through there, through their contact information, or on the screen you'll see the contact Bethany, and contact her, call her as a group, whatever you need to do, and she'll get you situated and ready to go for that night. We're so pumped about our life group night at the Stampede Arena. Hockey's going to be amazing. Bring friends, bring your family. You can invite whoever, just as long as you take care of the tickets before the night. You guys are A-okay. And one last thing. I need to give a shout out to the DeBoer and Steen R3 group. Thank you guys for blowing up my phone. I appreciate it. And the Hackett Life group, R3 group. You guys are amazing. Thank you for wanting a shout out. You got it. If anyone else wants a shout out, you let me know. There's some really great things on the horizon for life groups. I'll keep you guys informed. Have an amazing life group, and I'll see you next week. So welcome to R3 and week 3 of our series, Who is Jesus? We can all remember a teacher who truly inspired us. Someone who spoke and everyone in the class would just listen. As we dive into this series, Who is Jesus? We come across a phrase that most people could agree with, that Jesus was a great teacher. Jesus undoubtedly had incredible method in teaching. He could capture an audience with just a word, with just a sentence. But that isn't what set Jesus apart. It wasn't his method. It was his message. Pastor Phil shared out of the Sermon on the Mount this Sunday, and he shared two things that Jesus did in his message that just changed everything. First, Jesus' teaching turned the world upside down. Jesus starts his teaching with what we call the Beatitudes. He shares with us that blessed are those who are poor in spirit. Blessed are those who mourn. Blessed are the humble, blessed are the persecuted. These statements are completely opposite than the world's way of thinking, and they don't really seem like blessings to us, but Christ is revealing that we as believers have hope in the midst of difficult circumstances, that we are blessed in the midst of pain and tribulation. Second, Jesus' teaching turned religion upside down. The Pharisees taught the Jewish law to the people, and from the 10 Commandments to the time when Jesus was walking on earth doing ministry, they were broken down to 613 rules, 248 commands, 365 prohibitions, and you get the picture. They stretched it out. And Jesus taught that it was more than rules and living up to the law. He then exceeded the expectations of what each law inquired and required to show that living a holy life could only be done through him. It was more than religion. It was about a relationship with him, not an expectation to live up to. There is no doubt that Jesus was a great teacher, but we remember him because of what he taught, not how he taught. Romans 5:8 says this, "But God demonstrates his own love for us in this: while we were still sinners, Christ died for us." The world calls Jesus teacher, religion tries to be God's servants, but Christ offered a restored relationship with God. He died for us so that we may serve others and come into relationship with Him. If that doesn't rock your world, then I don't know what will. Have a great time discussing this Sunday's sermon, and I'll see you back for Reflect. Welcome to Reflect. Now that we've established that Jesus is a great teacher because of what He taught, I've got a question for you. Are you teachable? Do you have a teachable spirit? We've all heard the saying, 2 ears, 1 mouth, that we should listen twice as much as we should talk. For some of you teens watching, you may hear this more often than not now, and I'm just picking on you a little bit, but most of us have heard this saying, haven't we? True story. I have never heard that phrase or that saying until I moved to Sioux Falls. True, that's totally true. Never have. And based on my childhood, I could have definitely used that phrase, that saying, because I was a wild kid. Big surprise. Turns out this saying is based off scripture. In James 1:19, the apostle tells us, "My dear brothers and sisters, take note of this. Everyone should be quick to listen, slow to speak." When Jesus saw the crowd and delivered the Sermon on the Mount, He took a seat and everyone else around Him stood up. I imagine these people clinging onto every word that Jesus is saying, and to those who are hundreds of feet away, they're straining just to hear a whisper of His voice. So I have a question for you. Are you standing up to listen to the whisper of Jesus' teaching, or are you sitting down and missing out on His word? I can't help but imagine those people who are hundreds of feet away, clinging on to every single word that He's saying, and compare that to how God speaks to us. Our great teacher, Jesus, often speaks to us in a whisper. In Psalm 46:10 it says, "Be still and know that I am God." To be still, to be quiet, and to listen to His words. The prophet Elijah also shares about his encounter with God in 1 Kings chapter 19, verses 11 and 12. And this is what it says. The Lord said, "Go out and stand on the mountain in the presence of the Lord, for the Lord is about to pass by." Then a great and powerful wind tore the mountains apart and shattered the rocks before the Lord. But the Lord was not in the wind. After the wind there was an earthquake, but the Lord was not in the earthquake. After the earthquake came a fire, but the Lord was not in the fire. And after the fire came a gentle whisper. Our great teacher is speaking to us. He is whispering His guidance to us, but there are obstacles that can get in our way, things that would render us deaf to hearing God's whisper. That first obstacle is noise. In Kyle Idleman's book, Aha! Awakening Honesty and Action, he writes, "Imagine you're home watching a game, you have the TV turned up fairly loud, but someone is using the blender in the kitchen. Someone else is running the vacuum cleaner in the living room, and one of the kids has the radio cranked up all the way down the hallway. You think, I just need to turn up the volume. So you grab the remote to turn the television volume even louder, only to find that it's already turned up all the way. But you still can't hear the game. What's the problem? Well, the problem isn't the volume. The problem is that you need to turn down the interfering noises." We can all relate to this, can't we? That life brings a lot of volume. We need to find ways to turn that volume down. That can be in the shower, that can be on the way to work, on a lunch break, wherever we find ourselves, to just hit pause and to listen to God's voice. Now, there's another obstacle that we face that can deafen God's whisper in our lives, and that's resentment. I never knew the stronghold of resentment until I found it in myself, in my own life. I was in a deep pit of resentment towards my own father. It took an honest conversation with a dear friend to make me realize that I was withholding from my dad. I didn't want to forgive him for something that I feel like he did to our family. I saw the way it affected us growing up, and I had deep resentment. I didn't want to forgive my own father. And through that conversation and through many tears, I listened and I heard God whisper that I needed to forgive him. Finally, after it seemed hours, I forgave my father. He never knew it, but I came to just forgive him. Now, a week later, I got a phone call from my dad in tears. He was crying that he reconciled the relationship that he had with my very own sister. And my parents' marriage for 35 years has never been stronger. And I believe that when we stand up and listen to God's whisper in our lives and give into resentment and really push it out in our lives and give forgiveness, that we can really hear his whisper. And this is what I'm saying. When we stand up and listen to Jesus' voice in our lives, when we fight against the noise and all the resentment, our entire world changes because we begin to live out the message that Jesus taught. And this is what you need to know. Jesus wants to speak to you. He has something to whisper into your life. So are you teachable? Are you at a place right now where you're pushing against the noise, forgiving, and listening to God's plan for your life? Enjoy your discussion, and I'll see you again for React. Welcome to React. This week it's going to be very simple. It's going to be one question. What is something that you've been taught that simply isn't true? What is something that you've believed for quite some time now that isn't true? Maybe you've already wrestled with this and you know it isn't true, or maybe this can be a great opportunity for you to share with your group and for your group to help speak truth into that lie. That's it for this week's R3. I'll see you next week for week 4 of Who is Jesus? You guys have a blessed week.